So we thought, okay, we have a 280 billion gaming market. We have an insanely fast growing AI market, and we're combining the crypto market in one project. If we do it right, we really have a good chance of becoming very, very successful with this.
NeuralAI is the latest leading AI crypto project. AI-powered 3D asset creation on Bittensor, now working closely with Akash Network. Today we sit down with their founder to find out not only the basics. Can you explain what NeuralAI does in simple terms?
Okay, well, thank you for having me on the show, by the way. Very, very simple description of what Neural does is...
The tokenomics. Talk to me about tokenomics. What are the primary benefits for token holders in the NeuralAI ecosystem?
So there's multiple benefits.
Partnerships and integrations. Is there more to say on your relationship with the Bittensor ecosystem, like participating and adding to the Bittensor ecosystem? What is your relationship to Akash Network?
We have a very good relationship with them.
Smash the like button. This video done in partnership with NeuralAI. We dive deep into this project. Let's do it. I'm bullish on AI projects. NeuralAI is one of the leading AI projects in this new bull cycle. Now, Neural is an AI-based game asset generator on Bittensor. I'm joined here with Neuro, the founder of the project. First of all, Neuro, can you explain what NeuralAI does in simple terms?
Okay, well, thank you for having me on the show, by the way. So the very, very simple terms description of what Neural does is we are basically creating a one-stop shop for game developers, game studios, and 3D artists that seek to streamline and reduce the costs of their 3D asset production, while also we're decentralizing the infrastructure behind it. That in return comes back to our token holders and rewards them with real revenue that we generate from this decentralization, which is on the Bittensor network. So we generate rewards in Tau, and this then comes back to our holders. And we also do game incubations, which reward our holders as well.
And I didn't mean to, jump past an introduction of yourself. I'd love to learn more about you, and even more precisely, what is your why? Why make something like this? Can you share some of your personal journey and what inspired you to venture into AI, blockchain, and especially 3D?
All right. Well, I mean, I could talk about this forever, but just a very basic overview. So I started in general with software development in 2009. I very quickly went kind of into the business side as well. So I was never just a developer. And I started a game project with some other people. And over time, we made it really successful, actually quite successful for our, own expectations. So we managed to actually generate 5 million user accounts on that game over 5 years. And we had like 340,000 monthly unique users, which I think at that time was pretty great, right? Then after those 5 years, I kind of wanted to transition to something else. So around 2015, 16, I started working more with e-commerce companies, and I started providing software services to them. And I basically created the teams of developers for these companies. And by that, I grew our team size quite heavily over a few years. So we ended up having 30, 40 developers that I was managing and leading. So that was quite an interesting experience as well. And then around that time, also, I got into crypto around 2017. And of course, like at first, I invested a little bit earlier already, but I kind of lost that wallet. So that's gone.
2017, I'm sure you were buying Tron and EOS and all of those.
Yes, I think that my first investment was actually Litecoin, apart from Bitcoin. At that time, I was super happy, within 2 weeks of my investment, I doubled my money. but it also went quick again, back down. So yeah, I went through a lot of ICOs as well. And I always had this idea in mind of also starting a project, a company myself in this space. But first of all, like what I did was, coming from the software services space, I started working with actually already established tokens or coins that needed developer support. I started building teams for them. And then I did that for a while until like around 2020, 2021. And then that was the time when I started getting really interested also in a mix of crypto and AI, right? So that was early signs of AI becoming more mainstream. It wasn't like the ChatGPT time yet, I think, but a little bit before that. And I started working on, early LLMs, playing around with deepfake technology and stuff like that to understand like image generation and image manipulation. And I kind of dragged some part of the developers of my previous projects also into this. And so basically, through that, I kind of built my own AI team, which is now the foundation of Neural AI as well. And we worked on, we went through the early LLMs, then we worked a lot of stable diffusion based image generation, video generation. Like we really tried a lot of things to really understand the space. We worked on text generation with different frameworks. We trained our own data sets and models for our own purposes and for clients. And then basically at some point, I think it was sometime in 2023, we were thinking, okay, look, the core team that I grew there, we all had some experience as gamers working in gaming before. So we kind of thought, okay, so what if we can combine like all three of our interests, which is AI, gaming, and crypto, and actually make a meaningful project out of that? And we started doing some research, and we realized that the 3D asset generation space is actually insanely, let's say, it's underappreciated. um, and the competition that was there was also very, very low quality for that at that time. So we thought, okay, we have a 280 billion gaming market. We have an insanely fast growing AI market, and we're combining the crypto market in one project. If we do it right, we really have a good chance of becoming very, very successful with this. And also from my personal experience from the previous gaming projects that I did, I know that the 3D asset generation part of creating a game is a huge time sink and money sink, right? So we know that companies are looking for this. Like they might not understand it yet, but in a few years latest, I'm pretty sure every game development company is going to use 3D asset generation. There's no way around it. Because in the end, the conclusion we made was, let's build this up. Let's try to compete with Web2 quality. And then on the other hand, let's also try to decentralize this over time. That was our vision, and that's where we're going right now. And we're actually pretty close to achieving both things. So, yes.
Very cool. And you kind of talked a little bit about this in describing your journey, but what is the current Neural AI team size? What is their background? You can, just answer in brief. And then what company size are you aiming for in the long run?
Okay, so very briefly, right now we have 15 people in the team. We have 7 developers, and the rest is comprised of marketing managers and mods and a few support team members and design. And then we have, in terms of the plans for the future, we're hiring right now actively subnet specific developers and AI engineers additionally to what we have. So we have a team of, as I said before, the core team is very experienced with AI, crypto, and gaming, just different priorities based on the team member. And then we're now adding developers that already launched subnets before, so that they can give us input on what to avoid and what issues they faced and stuff like that. And also we're always expanding our AI team. So the AI engineering and in general AI tooling is very important for us. We want to get that side constantly evolving, and yeah, that's what we're doing. But in general, we try to avoid growing too fast and hiring too many people. This is, I think, a pitfall for many crypto and in general startups. If you have some funds available, people tend to just grow it really fast and throw money at people and hope that it works out. From my experience, very painful experience and lessons, that never worked out. So we're trying to stay very lean while making good progress and only expand as necessary.
I've seen that amongst my peers in the content creation space as well. They go crazy hiring people in the bull market, then in the bear market they have to cut. So yeah, I think it's smart to stay lean.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's jump to the token. Talk to me about tokenomics. What are the primary benefits for token holders in the Neural AI ecosystem?
All right. So in terms of the the primary benefits. Token holders have multiple benefits from holding the token alone. So you can, first of all, it's an access to the actual D app that lets you generate the 3D assets. Second of all, token holders can very soon, probably around the time this video releases, they will be able to stake their tokens. So they stake Neural and they will receive staking rewards paid out based on real revenue that we generate on the backend. So right now we have we basically operate this in a 2-week window. Staking will be refilled every 2 weeks based on revenue that came in. So the first staking 2-week window will start with $50,000 worth of Tau, and those will be paid out to staking holders. And then on top of that, Neural holders will also be able to participate in the incubations that we do. So right now we have a gaming incubation, which means we support a game that's actually a Web2 game from a very reputable company in the Web2 gaming space, and they want to go to Web3, and we support them in many different ways. And for that, we made a deal with them to receive a certain percentage of their total supply and be able to actually give that back to Neural stakers over time. And then there's a few other benefits that are going to come along, but the main one, the really, really prevalent one, is revenue share. And there's many revenue streams that we're building with
to me, that would be the
side.
most exciting one. To me, that if I was a holder, that would be the one. Be like, yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, exactly. So on the Tau side, we have multiple revenue streams. On the Tau side, we have Tau miners that are generating Tau right now. We also have as soon as the subnet launches, we will have additional revenue streams that come in just from running the subnet, and then also supplying miners and validators on the subnet, plus actually supplying these as templates to other people that want to start miners on our subnet. So there's multiple streams just from this. And then also we're building a 3D asset generation API for bigger gaming studios and corporations to integrate into their workflow seamlessly. And this will also obviously be paid. And then later on, when we have the marketplace, we will also revenue share the marketplace fees, where you can, on our marketplace, you can actually sell 3D assets that you generated directly from the D app. So it's like a very seamless process. And people can either generate their assets then or buy already existing assets, which will come with a fee, and that fee goes back to the staking pool as well. Once all these revenue streams come together, we're definitely looking at high 6 figures, 7 figures a month in revenue potential. Of course, this is, it's step-by-step process, but we're looking at quite high revenue share that's actually generated on real use cases, which is, I think, quite rare in crypto.
Yeah, and this is what I want to hear about. And then we just talked about the tokenomics as it relates to the token holders. And, you said as use case develops, that's obviously going to be good for generating revenue. So talk to me about the other side of that coin. I guess the game developers are going to be using NeuralAI. What are the main benefits of using NeuralAI for game developers?
So there's multiple benefits. For example, if we think about game development, there's a prototyping phase, there's a development phase, and then there's like a polishing phase. In the prototyping phase, we speed up the prototyping insanely, because developers don't need to create their own assets, even if they're low quality for prototyping. It takes them some time, right? For us, they can just type in, go to our app, or soon also go to our plugins in Unreal Engine and Unity, and just type in what they want. They want a chair, they get a chair. They want I don't know, a ball, they get a ball. A character, they get a character. They just have to really, it's like ChatGPT prompting in a way, or image prompting, right? And that goes really fast. We generate these models within approximately, worst case, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So they can have their models ready for prototyping that way more resemble the final product than they used to. Where they had like a 2 months prototyping phase, it can now be cut by half probably, just by using us, which is an insane money sink already. Then, of course, in general, what we're also doing is we will also be adding stuff like auto rigging. So you can automatically rig your characters in our app. We will further expand the tools to in very detailed correct things on the models. You know, if you generate something in Midjourney, for example, sometimes it's not perfect, right? And you want to slightly edit it or overpaint something and stuff like that. The same will be possible for us soon. So we're working on these systems right now. And then in general, the benefits are speed, cost efficiency, and in general, you can just move way faster as a game developer. And then on top of that, if you combine that with what we're going to offer on the subnet, which is validators, right? So yeah, I'm not sure if we should go into subnets now. Probably that's gonna come in a little bit later in the question. So I'm just gonna stop it here. But yeah, there's lots of benefits for game developers.
For sure. We could be talking about each question for, half an hour, I'm sure. But,
Yes,
top of the funnel, top of the funnel.
exactly.
But you know, I want to hear about your relationship to Akash Network. Now, as I understand it, at the time of this recording, you are pseudonymous to the public, you and the team. You have doxed yourself to Akash Network. I want to hear if there's any plans to eventually, do you ever see yourself, doxing yourself totally? Or the bigger question is, what is your relationship to Akash Network?
Okay, yeah. So we're not doxed to two companies by now. So we're doxed to Akash Network, which is, as you know, like a $1 billion project. And then we also doxed to Haken, the audit company, which we just performed and we did for the staking and the marketing contract. And they, by the way, they got rated very highly. So there's no issues there. And yeah, so the connection to Akash is basically, we've been in touch with them for months already. Akash doesn't do, partnerships. Akash does useful collaborations, I would say. So if we have a very good relationship with them because we utilize their services for our 3D asset generation needs, for our Tau miners, for Tau validators, for additional support services and model training. So there's a lot of use cases that we can derive from Akash. And on the other hand, they're obviously very happy if they have an actual use case project that's utilizing their platform that just gives them a lot of validation as well. So we benefit each other very nicely. Like I really love the Akash team. We have a private chat with them. We're constantly in touch. We're going to organize upcoming events maybe together. And then there's also at some point there will be a time where we're going to, dox fully. But for now, yes, we're doxed to Akash and we're doxed to Haken.
Is there more to say on your relationship with the Bittensor ecosystem? Like the big question is, what is NeuralAI's plans in participating and adding to the Bittensor ecosystem? You talked a little bit about it, but is there more to say?
In terms of the Bittensor ecosystem, so as we progress the next few months, basically everything we're doing right now in terms of 3D asset generation will be relying on the Bittensor network. So as we create our subnet, all of these 3D asset generation tasks are outsourced to miners on the subnet and then validators for, actually validating them and rating the miners. And basically, this will make a few things happen. And it's quite interesting because I think most people don't understand the Bittensor network and what it actually does. So when you have a subnet there that is focused on 3D asset generation and actually high quality 3D asset generation like we try to achieve, we create a product. Well, we create access to a product that people actually want to use, and it's decentralized. So there are going to be hundreds of miners, quite a few validators that are going to basically populate the network, the subnet. For example, if you're a big gaming studio, right, you would pay insane amounts of money in order to maintain your own, for example, 3D in-house AI asset generation. And it would cost you a lot of staff, a lot of GPUs and stuff like that. And it's just not really feasible right now. But what you can do instead, once our subnet is running, you can actually become a validator on our subnet as a gaming studio. And becoming a validator gives you direct access to the miners, right? So that means you can give them tasks and they will complete it. So basically, you can implement our subnet into your workflow as a validator, and you basically send the requests directly to our subnet, and the miners will take care of it. And they're incentivized to create high quality assets, and by the natural competition that occurs in subnets, these assets should become higher and higher quality naturally, and they should be also focusing on speed. So it's kind of like a balance that we want to achieve with our incentive mechanism. So yeah, basically what you will have is the subnet generating better and faster models over time without us even giving a lot of input or doing a lot of extra research. So this would mainly be driven by the actual miners that receive rewards based on their quality output, which is an insanely interesting concept. So this is how the Bittensor network works with us. So over time, we will become a validator. We're the subnet owner, but we will also become a validator on the Bittensor network for our own applications. And other people will be mining. We will provide miners to them as well through Akash. And then also other gaming companies can come in and become validators, or they can use our API, whatever is easier and or works better for them. So there's a lot of options that we open up here for a market that really needs it. So I'm super excited about this.
I feel like already I have a much better understanding about what NeuralAI is and what you guys are doing. My final question as we're wrapping things up is, thinking about what happens in, say, the next 3 years, what are your long-term goals for NeuralAI? What would success look like?
Okay, well, success would look like, for me, what I want to achieve with this is I want to basically the subnet should become a kind of self-perpetuating network that constantly evolves. And in 3 years from now, I really hope that we would be at a stage where AAA companies could just plug into the subnet and generate their models en masse with just very minor additions or changes to the result. That is my goal. And to populate that network, give back to the holders through the revenue generated from it, and just become insanely valuable for the Bittensor network as a whole. That is my long-term vision for it.
Excellent. I encourage everybody from our audience, check out NeuralAI. I'm going to link all the pertinent websites and social media down below. Final thoughts, final call to action for the Altcoin Daily audience.
If you like what you heard, definitely check us out.
I'm going to check it out. I'm going to try out staking.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Thank you, Neuro.